Get in here and get my cowboy gear. All right. What's up, guys? Ted Jones of the Ted Jones World podcast. You might notice that I'm looking a little bit Western today. I'm going to a wedding on Thursday. As you guys are listening to this, it's Monday. And I've never... the last time I went to a wedding where it was like a destination wedding and I had to be there for, I guess, more than 2 nights. I'm going for 3 nights. Like, I'm a little concerned. I don't know what to pack. I looked at this like mood board list. I'm popping up right here, this mood board. It's like Western chic, not really wearing a jacket. But then there's 3 different nights of outfits, which like I feel like as a guy, it's stressful when you don't have somebody to like bounce your outfit off of, right? Like girls, for the most part, they'll send pictures of themselves to their other friends and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so cute. Maybe try this, those shoes, this, that. Like being a single guy, who am I supposed to talk to about what outfits to wear? You know, like I refer to my mom. I'm like, okay, Mom, it's a Western theme. 2 separate nights are these outfits here. And then on the 3rd night, I'm going to have to wear a black tie. And right now, guys, I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I don't own a tuxedo. Okay? I'm 31 and I think at this point, like 5, 6. That's how old I am right now. So maybe at some point I should get a tuxedo. Shout out my boy, Giulio Gallerati. He was like, dude, just rent one. And I thought in my head, I was like, dude, I don't want somebody's sweaty legs on my sweaty legs. And like, you know what I mean? The chances are of those tuxedos being remarkably sweaty and then also being thoroughly cleaned afterwards, small bit. I couldn't see, like, if I worked at a tuxedo shop, I freaking get it cleaned as fast as I can and then give it to the next one. And people will say when other people are getting married or a guy is going to propose to a girl, they'd be like, good luck. Hope she says yes. Like, bro, it shouldn't be a question if you're proposing to someone, especially like if you propose to someone. This is a message, beep, beep, memo to all the guys out there. If you're proposing to your girl at like a live sporting event in front of 50,000 people, you best be sure she's saying yes. But I mean, like, if a guy is that confident in legitimately proposing to a girl, like the girl, I feel like should say yes right then. And then in his ear afterwards, be like, babe, we have to talk about this. You know, like instead of her freaking out. Because there's definitely been some situations where guys have proposed in front of 60,000 people at a baseball game, whatever, a football game, and she says no. That could be awkward. So a little bit more color on this girl's wedding that I'm going to. The groom of the girl that I know is very cool, is very chill. He's been to a Ted Jones comedy show, multiple, I believe. But this girl I've known since I was like 15 years old. And one of my boys and we were hanging out with her one night. And we convinced her that he started the website youjizz.com. I don't know if that's so appropriate to like promote that. Yeah, whatever. Promoting that website. I guess I could talk about it, but like a pornographic website, and he was 16 years old and she thought he created it. I don't know if I believe her for believing that. You know what I mean? Like it was just such a random story. Like how can anyone believe that? But some people are gullible, man. Tell you that. Some people are gullible. End of summer is approaching us. I guess the end of summer is what? The first day of fall is September 21st. Something like that. Great summer. Got a lot of sun. And now I'm looking forward to the New York winter. It's such a weird contrast being in New York. Like 5 months, you'll get a lot of sun. You'll get tan. And then the other 7 months, you like don't get any sun at all. Like, is that healthy? Is that the way you're supposed to live? I don't know. Sometimes in New York, like there are probably 8 to 10 days in fall and winter combined where you're like, wow, especially if you live here, like, why do I live here? The weather is awful. As opposed to a place like LA, you'd be like, oh, the weather's perfect all year round. It gets a little bit hotter, a little bit colder. But I don't know. At the same time, when you're in LA, you've got to drive. And driving too many places, sometimes it grinds my gears, guys. If you know me, you know I love the pace of New York. I'm down to do 5 separate things in a night or during the day. I could go to CVS, go to the grocery store, and go pick up some nugget from the local dispensary. In LA, that would take from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. In New York, that takes from 11 a.m. to maybe 1 p.m. tops. So New York's a lot quicker. And then plus the flight over to LA just takes a lot of time. And if you wake up at 8 a.m. there, you're waking up at 11 a.m. here. It's like we got the day started already. My back hurts a little bit, which is interesting. It's like a sore back, nothing like pulled or anything. Just feels like crampy and weird. I figured I'd share that with you guys since like I am the, what's the word? The beacon of health. There you go. If mom or dad or grandma are listening to that, Yes, I got a new word in my vocabulary. But being being vegan, not really drinking that much, you figure like my health would be at a top premium level. And it has been for the most part. But I mean, right now my back hurts just a little bit. All right, side note, I don't mean to complain, man. I don't need to complain, but we had the Ted Jones comedy show the other night at the Moxie Chelsea Hotel. Thank you for everyone who came, the comics who did it. And we usually do the Ted Jones comedy show at the moment at the Moxie Hotel Lower East Side, and they were renovating that room, so we had to switch it up to Chelsea, which is fine. But the room in Chelsea, like no offense to the room in Chelsea, it just wasn't made that well for comedy. There was a bar on the other side of the comedy room. There's a DJ, so it was a little bit tough to bring down the DJ volume, so there was no noise in the comedy room. But hey, you deal with things every day, right? It just depends on how you emotionally deal with it, right? I feel like before the show, I was like, all right, there's a few kinks that we need to work out, and if all of them don't get fixed, whatever, the show goes on. If all of them get fixed, show goes on. Same thing, whatever. They say, I don't know if this is like true facts, but they say like 90% of life is how you think about it. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way. That's a good phrase, guys. Oh, and I haven't had a solo app where I've just been talking at the camera for a very long time, but we've been doing this podcast now, guys, for about 4 years. Crazy to say. Crazy to think about out loud, because the first episode, if you guys go back to the first one with Ted Jones, episode 1, we released it on August 29th, I believe. Pop it up right here. Pop a screenshot of it. August 29th, and it was about 6 weeks after I had invasive jaw surgery. I've spoken about my jaw surgery many times on this podcast. I had one side of my face that was growing further than the other. My orthodontist recognized it. And then within like 2 months, I had insanely invasive jaw surgery. And this was kind of like a transformation in my life in that I went vegan. I had lost 20 pounds. I don't think those two were really related, but I couldn't eat or chew anything for real for like 3 months. So at that particular time, I was just having a bunch of fruit, oatmeal, soft beans, stuff like that. And then I slowly transitioned to being vegan. A year after that, I gave up fish. So I'd say full vegan. People will ask me, how long have you been vegan? And I'll say usually almost around 4 years, but I don't think that's a fair statement. I should say around 3. It's probably around the correct time. And for those of you who have been following along with Ted Jones World, we had the first annual Ted Jones World Neat Burger eating contest at Neat Burger at 25 Cleveland Place. It was an absolute madness time of a show. Here's some of the footage we were going through. It was super fun. And I look forward to hosting events like this in the future, man. I think vegan eating challenges are very rare, few and far between, but we got to push the vegan agenda a little bit. As I say on stage, I try not to be so annoying about being vegan, but sometimes, I just can't help it. And I think a main reason why I am still vegan is because of the way that I feel after eating. I never feel like I have to be rolled out of somewhere. You know, sometimes maybe you'll be at a restaurant or you'll be at home and you'll just eat way too much and you'll be like, oh, I need to go to sleep immediately. Or you're at a restaurant with your friends and you're like, oh, I got to be rolled home. I ate too much. That doesn't really happen with being vegan. Or I should say, for me, at least, it doesn't happen at all. Doesn't happen, man. And the fact that there are so many restaurants popping up, like wherever you guys are at in the world, there's so many different ways to be vegan. People are coming up with vegan recipes on Instagram. You follow some of these accounts and it makes it super easy to eat less meat. And I think that's ultimately the message that I'm trying to push. All right, this is a segue. This is a slightly random segue, but hey, it wouldn't be Ted Jones World if it wasn't a random segue, okay? All right, I have this dating app. I won't mention, I guess, specifically what it is, but here's this dating profile that I have. I'm gonna pop it up right here. I'm going through the dating profile, and I just matched with this girl. This is not the first time this has happened, obviously, but this girl messages me. She goes, is this a dating profile or a newspaper ad? Should I say, this is a newspaper ad for a dating profile? I think that would be hilarious. I don't know, but I might just also let that sit. Just because, like, what is that? Is she being facetious there? Isn't every dating profile an ad? Isn't it? I just decided to make mine more addy. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Addy, I definitely have ADD, right? I don't know. Do you guys like this cowboy hat? Could be chill, man. Could be chill just walking out onto the farm or out to the ranch with a cowboy hat on. You're just like, time to milk the cows. By the way, is that pleasurable for the cows if you use your hands to milk it instead of like using one of those big machines? That's actually a good question for me being a vegan. I should know that. So that's like, because cows have been milked like that for years. I remember one time I was in like 6th grade or something like that. We went to nature's classroom. I'm sure like a lot of you who have been to school maybe know something what I'm talking about, where it was just like a 2-night trip. You go out to a farm, wake up at 5 a.m., start milking cows in the mud with my little mud boots. I was like, what am I doing here, man? It gave military vibes, even though I have no idea what the military is like, okay? But I do have shorts that say Marines on it. And guess what? Anytime I put those shorts on, I try and channel being a Marine. I'm like, I need a buzz cut. Do push-ups. Run in the rain, because I feel like that's what you got to be doing. Oh my God, I literally have them over here. I'm gonna show you guys my Marine shorts. Look at this, no pockets either, so I can't play tennis in it. But look at this, pretty standard. And guess where I got them, guys? You guessed it. Yes, I got them on Amazon. They're like $8. Marine shorts, man. That's like now. Well, I bought a Harvard sweatshirt before because it's hilarious, and anytime I see somebody wearing like Stanford, Harvard, Princeton sweatshirt on the street, I'll just say whatever sweatshirt they're wearing. Some guy walked by me the other day. He's wearing a Princeton sweatshirt. And I was like, Princeton! He's like, what year did you graduate? I was like, 04! And then I realized that would make me 41 years old. Yes. Do you guys like that? That was a little bit. That was a bit that I've been thinking of, right? Same thing. See a guy with a sweatshirt, wearing a Harvard sweatshirt. I'm like, Harvard! He's like, what dorm did you stay in? I'm like, the Harvard dorm. You know, get real familiar with it, guys. Get real familiar with it. But you know what? Life is going great. There are ups and downs in this business, in this field. It's been super fun these past 4 years. And I just appreciate every single one of you, even if there's not that many at this particular time, listening in, tuning in, giving a suggestion, hearing something, or if I see you in person, you mentioned something that we've done here. And yeah, you know, as they say, it's a marathon, not a freaking sprint, guys. Not a freaking sprint. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Check the link tree in my Instagram profile or in this YouTube video, wherever you guys are listening to this podcast. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up, but stay along. Follow Ted Jones World. Questions, comments, concerns, you just let me know. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.